The DLC you've all been waiting for Warhammer 2 has finally arrived, the Prophet and the Warlock, which adds 2 new legendary lords to the Lizardmen and the Skaven, as well as a slew of updates to both factions and Bretonnia in the free Doomsayers update. There's a lot to unpack, so let's get started. As soon as the trailer begins, you see the first new legendary lord on offer, Ikit Claw, the Warlock Engineer of Clan Skryre. This whole opening sequence is an homage to the 1980s action classic Predator, but the film here is put to good use, as it shows off the new units available to Ikit Claw. The Rattling Guns Weapon Team, specialist anti-infantry gun teams bearing the rotating rapid-fire Gatling gun. Rattling guns are heavy damage dealers, which also suppress their targets and slow movement. Warlock Jezzails, long-range, armor-piercing sniper infantry. These sharpshooters have the highest quality shields, and their projectiles confer the Shield Breaker contact effect. Doom Flayers, smaller than the Doom Wheel and twice as messy. Doom Flayers are designed to punch through enemy lines and deal powerful armor-piercing damage. The new unique lord being offered is a Warlock Master, a caster lord who uses the lore of Ruin in battle. Warlock Masters have unique skills which grant further bonuses to Doom Flayers, Doom Wheels, and weapons teams, and they may be upgraded to ride a Doom Flayer or Doom Wheel in battle. Ikit Claw's entire campaign will be about using his aptitude for science and invention to create some of the greatest weapons the world has ever known, and then destroy it with them. New regiments of renown will also be added, as well as unique ones available to just Ikit Claw that you can research in his new Forbidden Workshop, where you can spend resources to upgrade various units such as Doom Wheels, Doom Flayers, and weapons teams with powerful new stats and attributes. As the player upgrades in each category, they'll unlock further ancillaries and eventually new regiments of renown. Workshop progress requires food and warp fuel, a new resource gathered after battles. New research tiers in the workshop may be unlocked by completing unique missions, but the deadliest invention by far that the workshop offers is the Warpstone Doom Rocket. Doom rockets are outlandishly powerful weapons, deployed in battle as an army ability. They're crafted in the Forbidden Workshop and can be stockpiled for use. Though only one Doom rocket from the stockpile might be launched per battle. Perhaps the most powerful weapon wielded by any of the races in Warhammer 2, a single Doom rocket is capable of wiping out multiple units in a single strike. Everything about that last paragraph was awesome. He'll also gain access to the unique Doom Sphere, which plays with the new Under-Empire mechanic being added to the Skaven. Following the release of the Vampire Coast, CA got a lot of requests to add something similar to the Skaven, and they actually listened. The Pirate Coves mechanic in Curse of the Vampire Coast laid the foundations for this feature, but it's much more in depth here, and allows a secret base of operations known as the Undercity beneath any settlement through conquest or the use of agent actions. Once established, it gives a whole host of building options that will be available, including wealth, resources, and corruption. Undercities also support the ability to either summon a verminous army to rise up and attack the settlement above, or, if you're playing as Clan Skryre, to detonate a Doom Sphere device, which can blow the above settlement to ruins. The Under Empire offers a unique game of cat and mouse, where you expand your settlements, but try not to draw too much attention to yourselves, as heroes in the settlements above can always discover your presence. So you have to stay hidden and build up your armies until it's all too late for the surface dwellers. But the Lizardmen in this faction will not be outdone by a bunch of rats. Tehenowan, the Prophet of Sotek, joins the Lizardmen as the head of the cult of Sotek. He emerged as the charismatic prophet after a devastating plague was spread across the continent of Lustria by Clan Pestilence, and he since led a migration out of the defiled city of Chapua, and now goes to seek his revenge, slaughtering countless captives as sacrificial offerings in the hope that their blood will call forth the Serpent God. In-game, he'll be issued a series of unique missions, the completion of which will grant access to new forms of sacrifice, and when performed, these reward Tehenowan with unique banners, followers, and powerful temporary effects, as well as regiments of renown. As Tehenowan and his forces win battles against non-Lizardmen armies, they may choose to mark any post-battle captives as sacrificial offerings. As the offerings build, they may be spent on performing the sacrifices accessed by the Prophecy of Sotek missions. His ultimate sacrifice, though, is the Invocation of Sotek. The highest level of sacrifice gains Tehenhuan the ability to evoke Sotek himself, manifesting an aspect of the Serpent God in battle to deal devastating damage to his foes. All Lizardmen, though, will gain access to a new quest chain to seek out the Lord Croak, the last of the first generation of Slann. Although technically dead, his spirit remains and still exerts its power over the living world. Once Croak is found, he will join the player's faction as an immortal hero, boasting a completely unique skill tree and devastating campaign map abilities. Tehenhuan's armies look different than typical Lizardmen's, though, relying on a sea of lizards to invoke Sotek's will. As a red-crested skink himself, he gains them in battle. Armed with great weapons, red-crested skinks deal armor-piercing damage. Moving at a tremendous pace, they're well-equipped to swiftly outflank the enemy and strike from the side or rear. Salamander hunting packs are powerful ranged attack monsters that hurl fireballs, deal flaming attacks in melee, and cause fear. Their high speed enables them to reposition swiftly in the field. The Ancient Salamander, a vast and venerable salamander that hurls huge fireballs, dealing high damage and making the target more vulnerable to further flame attacks. The Ancient Salamander also deals flaming attacks in melee and causes terror. The Ripper Dactyl Riders, flying anti-infantry cavalry ridden by skinks, dealing powerful armor-piercing damage in melee. The Ancient Stegodon, wielding an engine of the gods, which can use the Burning Alignment beam attack and the Portent of Warding to protect nearby friendly units. And the Bastillodon as an Ark of Sotek. A Bastillodon mounted with the Ark of Sotek is able to summon a writhing vortex of poison-dealing serpents around itself in combat. Like the Skaven, the Lizardmen will also receive new regiments of renown for the player to call upon in battle. His unique lord will be the Red-Crested Skink Chief, a powerful melee-focused lord capable of leading armies with their own unique skill trees. He may be upgraded to ride a Horned One, a Ripper Dactyl, or a later fearsome Ancient Stegodon. But possibly even more exciting is the long-awaited Bretonnia overhaul, the biggest changes of which is to the vow system. All the legendary lords, prophetesses, and paladins now gain access to unique pledges. When you select it, you take up a pledge, and your character will receive a trait linked to the conditions of the task it gives, which could be anything from defeating enemies in battle to constructing certain types of buildings in their home region. Upon completing the task, the vow will be granted, and the character will gain access to progress onto subsequent vows. Once completed, each vow will grant the character a selection of buffs and benefits, such as upkeep reduction for specific units, increased armor, or even immortality. But beyond the brand new vow system, Bretonnia have also received a lot of other updates, including new technologies, Albrecht finally getting his Trident of Manan, new Confederation dilemmas, Bretonnian lords starting the game mounted in default because, they're knights and they should have always been, as well as changes to the often maligned peasant economy cap, where now, so long as you're beneath the cap, your present mobs are free. Because, let's be honest, what kind of a lord's going to spend money on peasants? General Bretonnian garrison improvements, and most importantly, increased turn duration for the Green Knight. And, if your chivalry bar is at level 5, unlimited Green Knight uses. So if you're like me and keep waiting to actually use him in a pinch, and then find yourself finishing a game and never having actually summoned him, hopefully this will address it, though I still wish he had been tied to a right instead. But as the Bretonnia update comes free alongside the new Lizardmen and Skaven update, you can hardly grumble. This DLC reads like something of a wish list, filling in the missing units for the Skaven and Lizardman factions, and hits nearly every single one the community has requested. Both campaigns seem to be focused around building a super weapon and deploying it in battle, and brings a new and unique dynamic to campaigns. All of this releases on April 17th, only 2 weeks away, so sharpen your claws for Sotek and prime your guns for Ikit Claw, because the Prophet and the Warlock is coming soon. And really only one question remains: who will you play first, the Lizardmen of Tehenhuan, or the Skaven under Ikit Claw? So cast your vote above, and leave what you think of this new reveal in the comments below.